My impressions are that he's doing a bit what he wants. I think he's doing what is to be expected, which is being unpredictable and doing all the sorts of things that you will not expect and create a mess where there is no, and being a difficult guy to handle with, I will say. That's a bit my impression. To be honest, no, I don't know the details. I mean, it's just as it sounds like we put before our country and then the rest come afterwards. That's everything I know about it. Well, I think it's a very conservative way of thinking, no? Like a way of going back to the old thinking even in Europe, but in a while ago, before globalization and before everything that came during the last decades. Yeah, so a bit a way back instead of way forward. It's difficult to say. I think that it's basically the way he thinks is about America first, like his slogan. So Europe is a bit forgotten sometimes. Sometimes it's when it even should not be forgotten and diminished when it should not be. Sometimes some of the smaller countries in Europe are treated in a way that it's not fair, I find, and maybe concentrate more on the biggest countries. So yeah, that's a bit what I think, that he has kind of a manichaeist way of seeing Europe and the world.
In my opinion, I'm positive because he's doing very well in the interest of the American people. I think media is a little bit too much give stress to this issue, but in my opinion, he is a big power. He's not behind of this policy. Actually, American economy is behind him because the president is responsible for, say, the words of this assembly who's behind him. And I think the media must be a little bit think differently about him. And that's, in my opinion, is not so pretty to see that too much pressure to President Trump, his allies with Europe, his allies with China, is also with economy in the first issue. But we see that there's too much demonization of Trump in not positive way, unfortunately. I don't know about Europe, but I think the economy is for Trump administration must be result in positive for his issue, his goal. Of course, it will be damage for Europe, for some countries whose benefit about economic relation with Europe, and we have to accept. I think that if they want to change strategy, but in a way for American people, yes, the choice of the president is choice of president.
He's just a clown, like, literally. He just does whatever. His image seems to be booming, even though there is no consistency whatsoever behind any of what he does. But somehow he seems to be getting away with it, because people find it funny or something. Well, I don't think the US would be where they are now if they were only focused on America. Like, if you just take examples like Mexico, I mean, half of what they're doing and their industry is based on their foreign exchanges. So I don't think the America First really makes total economic sense. So I'm slightly surprised, and I'm not sure it's actually sound if you push it to the extreme. But it's probably just one of those big messages that you need to push so that people rally behind it. And it does have a certain appeal if you're, in America and you've got, you're unemployed or things like that, and you feel like it's going to be better. But I feel like it's just one of those big messages that ultimately, if you do the math, it doesn't actually work. But, that's all about Trump anyway. I'm not actually very sure what changed exactly since he's been in power between the US and Europe, so I wouldn't really be able to say.